morning. Here we are in August. How did we get here so quick? Good Lord. Here we are in August. We're in a new theme, a new month. The theme for August, and don't forget, on the way out, don't forget to get your Science of Mind magazine. If you don't have a subscription yet or you haven't picked one up yet, because our themes for the month are coordinated with the Science of Mind magazine. So then you can read the daily guides, and it supports our theme for the month. You can read the articles, it supports the theme for the month, and we talk about the theme for the month. So see, it's all together. We're all on the same page here. It's a lovely thing. So here we are in August, and the theme for the month is a world that works for everyone. Yay! I know you've heard that before, right? Yay! A world that works for everyone. Sounds familiar, yes? Okay. It is the vision statement of Centers for Spiritual Living worldwide. You know, and they are the group. They're the home office. Those are the people that we are affiliated with. Centers for Spiritual Living worldwide. And Centers for Spiritual Living purpose statement is to awaken humanity to its spiritual magnificence. Its vision is to provide a world that works for everyone. And the mission is to provide spiritual tools for personal and global transformation. That should all sound really familiar to us here at Vision. We align with that purpose and vision and mission. In fact, every Sunday when you come through those doors, right, there is a quote that's over top of that doorway that says, "Transforming life through practical spirituality." That's what we're about. That is our mission. That's what we do here in this room and in this philosophy, in this teaching, is that we transform lives. And Ernest Holmes said, "We have nothing else to sell." I love that. In Anatomy of Healing Prayer, he said that, "I never try to sell what we believe." Because even if we did try to sell it, they wouldn't buy it anyway. He went on to say, "It's only when we do it that someone wants to buy it. It's only when we do that people want to buy." And so I love that. I love that idea of being known by our works. You know, that's what it is. We do this philosophy. It's not something we just talk about on Sundays. It's a way of life. And in fact, that is a great tagline of religious science. I don't see much around anymore, but years ago they used to say it is a faith, a philosophy, and a way of life. It is a way of life. We want a world that works for everybody. We have to work it. You know, we want a world that works for everyone. There are certain things that we have to do to support that vision. And Ernest Holmes said this. He said, "The possibility of salvation, not salvation of the soul, but salvation from the lesser to the greater." For us, that means a greater expression of spirit that we know that we are coming into the world. So he says, the salvation from the lesser to the greater lies in works through grace. And he said, don't you think that's a better idea? He said, "I tried to analyze it and put it together, and grace means that which is given, and works means that which is earned. Since everything is already given, we have to earn the right to use it, to even know that it's there by perception and through action." Now, those words by Ernest Holmes tells us we're already, quote unquote, saved. There was nothing for us to be saved from. We are already whole, perfect, and complete. We are already an idea that spirit is having in the physical form. We were born that way. We were born that way, whole, perfect, and complete. Grace comes alike to all, just by the mere fact that we are here. But then he goes on to say, we must earn the right to use this principle. We must earn the right by knowing it first, by understanding what the principles of science of mind are, and then putting it to use. He had a brilliant talk that he gave to the graduating practitioners where he said, now that you've all graduated, you've come to the end of this teaching, my best advice to you would be take all the books and throw them out the window and go about doing the work. Don't be reading about it anymore. Don't be studying it. Don't be trying to understand it. Just do it. Just do it. So that's what we're talking about here, doing the work as we would see it done by Spirit as us, through us into the world. If we want a world that works for everyone, darn it, we better start putting our little piece into it. In proving these principles, we have to prove the principles. We have to do more than just talk about them. We have to put them to the test and work them. In James 2:14 through 26, big long passage. Anyway, it says, it starts off with, what good is it, my brothers, if someone says he has faith but does not have works? Can that faith save him? And it goes on to have a little conversation, but somewhere along the way it says, so faith in itself, if it does not have works, is dead, right? You've heard that. Faith without works is dead. And at the bottom it finishes up by saying that for a body apart from the Spirit is dead, right? The body apart from the Spirit is dead, so faith apart from works is dead. If we're just going to sit around here every Sunday talking about this stuff and then not doing anything about it in the world, yeah, it is kind of dead. It's just talk. It's just talk. So we have to understand that sitting here and talking about it and believing it and understanding that we're already whole, perfect, and complete, we're already saved, that does not exempt us from going out and proving the principles. We still have to do that. Grace means that which is given. Work means that which is earned, like Ernest Holmes said. So earning the right to use it. What does that mean? So what does that mean? It's like first understanding that there are principles, that there are spiritual principles. Then understanding what those spiritual principles are. How do they apply to us? How do we work them in our lives? And all of those spiritual tools that we talk about on Sunday, those are the ways that we prove the principle. By meditating, by doing our affirmations, by doing our 5-step prayer treatments, by praying, by walking out in life and feeling your oneness with all life and stating your affirmations purposefully and powerfully and passionately and in the present tense, all of that work that we do, though that is practicing the principles. We prove that these principles work in our lives by working them, by applying them to everyday situations and seeing how conditions around us change. By doing the things that we do, by employing these spiritual tools. And Ernest Holmes said this, in Freedom to Live, he said, our capital is ourself. The dollars and cents of our own personality. The things we have to sell are our thoughts and ideas. Our customers are everyone we come in contact with. Everyone. The place of business is wherever we find ourselves in any moment. No one robs us of this capital. It will always bear interest if we invest it wisely and well. So it's about being this authentic self in the world, taking these principles, practicing them, utilizing them, putting them into work in the world where other people can see us doing it, and then transforming our lives. It means being in the world, of course, and being in the world, but not, of it or in it or whatever it says. We practice the principles in work. At home, with our family, on the freeway, wherever we go, we're practicing these principles, we're proving it, we're working it. If we want a world that works for everyone, we must work it. We must abandon our attachment to outcome and just do what is in front of us to do. Bishop Shelby Spong said, the purpose of Christianity, and maybe the purpose of all religion, is not to give us security. It's to give us the courage to embrace the radical insecurity of life and keep moving forward. We're not guaranteed. Because we practice these principles and we move forward and we believe, it doesn't guarantee us a neat, clean, tidy, all good life. Like we're going to have all springs and summers and no falls and winters. It doesn't guarantee that. But what it guarantees is that through the practice of these principles, when stuff goes haywire, we have the resources to stand firm in our truth, to know the truth for ourselves, to navigate the waters. When everybody's losing their mind and going crazy and blaming you, we have that ability to know the truth. We're anchored in the truth deeply. We know the principles. We practice them so that we can rely on them when we need them. Want to change the world? That's how we change the world, by changing ourselves, by knowing what we know is true. We must do, not tell everybody else what they need to be doing. When you go to talks like this and you nudge the person next to you and you go, are you listening? Are you listening? We need to practice the principles. Tools for transformation means living the kind of life that people look at and say, I want that. I want what they have. I want that. Why are they so peaceful? Why are they so happy? Why are they so joyful? Don't they know what's going on in the world? But they also want that. They want that. They want what you are. And that's the reason people come through these doors. Because even if our lives are working perfectly, can they get a little better? Can we be a little more expressive? Can we be a little more of what Spirit intends us to be? Can we be more of our authentic self? Absolutely. Absolutely. And if you're still here in physical form, guess what? You still have work to do. Really. And it's not for us to come together here and talk about this stuff on Sunday, although I do love doing that. It's more about, okay, well then what are you going to take from this and go out in the world and change? What are you going to employ? What are you going to practice? We invite each other to try out these principles. That's why we're in relationship. That's why you were born into the family you were born into, because they gave you great practice, don't they, on proving these principles. We have all of those situations in our lives. We have all of those relationships in our lives in order for us to prove the principles, to prove that they work. And when we do, each and every time we do, and we are astonished, aren't we? In the beginning, when we come to a teaching like this, we're like, oh my God, this works. This is crazy. And we keep doing it, and we keep doing it, and we come to rely on the fact that it works. We come to rely on it. And we prove it at our work, and we prove it at our home, and we keep going back to prayer because we get a demonstration, we get a manifestation. We go, oh my God, and we're all excited. And then the next time it happens, it's like, oh yeah, okay. And then the third and the fourth and the 10th and the 20th time it happens, we're like, hey, I come to rely on this. I come to rely on this practice. I come to rely on these principles, on utilizing these principles in my life. Very, very much the same way I come to rely on when I walk into the house and I flip the switch, I know the light's going on. I don't have to wonder if it's going to work this time. Oh my God, is electricity going to fail me today? No, I know it's going to work. I know it's going to work. I trust it. I've gone beyond, I have to have faith in electricity, to, I know it works. And that's the same way with our prayer practice. We have to know that it works. And then we rely on it. And then we become that place of change in the world. We become that. We're standing in our faith. We're standing in the fact that these principles work. And we work them. And we are amazing to the people around us, right? Because our life is working. And it's unfolding and it's healing. And people around us want what we have. And so then you say, this place vision, you got to come. Anyway. But that's what working it is about. Employing the principles, doing the work, proving it to ourselves that it works. Emma Curtis Hopkins, who was actually Ernest Holmes' teacher. She was an amazing woman. They call her the teacher of teachers. She was the grandmother, basically, of New Thought. She said this. She said, the I am works inevitably through me to will and to do that which ought to be done by me. And that is just a real powerful affirmation. You might want to write that one down and take that one home and put it up on your rearview mirror of your car and your mirror at home in your bathroom. The I am works inevitably through me to will and to do that which ought to be done by me. It's the only way Spirit works, is through us. There is no other way that Spirit shows up in the world to do the work that we would see done except through us. This is an incredibly powerful thing to think about. Spirit works through us to will and to do what needs to be done by us. We are the place where Spirit shows up in form, in the flesh, to do those things that you think are important, but that you're in alignment with Spirit, that Spirit thinks is important, needs to be done. And who better to do it but you? You're the place where Spirit shows up. Casper the Friendly Ghost is not coming around. You're it. Each one of us, an individualized expression of Spirit. That's all we are. That's all we are. We just happen to be temporarily housed in this body. But all we are, Spirit is what animates us. So we get to pick and choose. We have free will. We can pick and choose what it is we want to get excited about or lit up about. And we do our best from day to day, week to week. We are the emissary of Spirit, if you think about it. We're God and company, but, guess who the company is? That's us. We are the place where Spirit gets to do its work in the world. And our best is different. We show up, we try to be our best, and our best is different from week to week. And I had a really bad week last week. I don't know about you, but I was not feeling my wholeness. I just had a really, really bad week of disconnection. I was not fit for human company last week. And it really was a good thing that I was at the house because and that's the bad part about social media, because you can just, you can just throw up all over it, and then it's out there forever and always, and you're like, oh God, it was just a passing thing. It was going to go away. But for everybody else now, it lives forever. Did you ever have one of those weeks? Oh my God. I've had a week of thinking in the condition. I've just been in the middle of it. I've been in the condition of it. Anybody else out there? Anybody else out there be sad and angry and vengeful and grieving all at the same time? Oh my gosh. It's been a really tough week. I've been grieving deaths and sorrowful over conditions and plotting revenge on perpetrators. Oh my God, sometimes all at once. Jeez, and if it's not one thing, it's about something else. And I'm upset over one thing after another. I've been upset over things all week long. And it's about coming back into balance, right? It's about coming back into balance. It's like I'm upset over one thing, and then something else comes across my horizon, and I'm upset about that too. And then something else crosses over onto the internet news, and now I'm upset about that too. And it's like, oh great, now I'm upset about all these things. And I'm looking at the conditions. I'm still looking at the conditions, and man, am I upset. And I know that I'm totally out of balance, and I know that I'm seeing the condition, and I know that is not the truth. Remember that picture I put up last week? I know it's not the truth, but it's just the facts, and yet I'm hooked by them. Does that sound familiar to anybody? Oh, good Lord, I am so tired of police shooting unarmed black men. I am so tired of that. I'm upset by trophy hunting men, women, and hunters. I am tired. I am sick and tired about the war on women's reproductive rights. There's so much to be sick and tired about. There's so much to be upset about. There's so much of the conditions in the world that you can just drive yourself crazy with. Okay, it's like, what else? What else? Come on, just throw it out there. What else has lit you up this week? God, it's been an awful week. It has. What else have you got? Anything? Have I covered all of it? Jeez, and then I get upset, and then I fall off my spiritual practice. Is that the first thing you do? You get hooked by the condition, and boom, you fall off your spiritual practice, and you have to remember. We have to remember. I fall off that practice of unconditional love. Man, somebody's going to pay for this stuff, Holy moly. And we have to remember. We have to remember. We have to go back to the truth. That is our practice. That is our spiritual practice. Remember who we are. Remember who we are. Go back to our practice. Pray, meditate, work it. Work it. Because we get all caught up in the condition and we forget. Ernest Holmes said, the most powerful place we can find ourselves is in prayer. That is awesome. Even if we can't do anything about what's upset us. I would love to fly to Zimbabwe and tell those people to stop giving out permits to kill animals. But it's not in my power to do that right here and right now. I can't, just like I can't go to Washington and tell them, stop being such idiots about women's health care. All kinds of stuff, right? It's not in my purview right now to do anything about that. But what Ernest Holmes said was, the most powerful place you can find yourself is in prayer. So I pray peace, and I pray balance, and I pray unity, and I pray wisdom, and wisdom will outpicture. Wisdom outpictures. And that's our practice. And that's our practice. And that's what we do. That's what we do. And not to beat ourselves up when we're in the middle of getting caught up by the condition, getting caught up in the drama, getting caught up in the false ideas, getting caught up in the fears and all this stuff. It's not for us to go, oh my God, I'm a terrible religious scientist, I'd have to turn in my license at that point if that was the case. I'm not up here to tell you, here's what you need to be doing. because this is what I do, and I'm perfect, Yes, we say we're whole, perfect, and complete. And perfect means lacking nothing. We're not talking about perfect. We're not talking about perfection, the definition of it, flawless. We're not talking about perfect as in flawless. We're talking whole, perfect, and complete. Perfect meaning lacking nothing. I have everything within me to express the whole life of God, to express all of the qualities. And there's nothing in there that stops me from doing that but me. So I'm walking right beside you. And when the stuff comes up on the news, I just lose it, And last week was a perfect example. Oh, my God, like I said, I wasn't fit for company. I was all in the condition. I was angry. I was grieving. I was sorrowful. I was all of it. I am not standing up on the mountaintop talking to you people. Ernest Holmes always said he never wanted to be put on a pedestal. He said, I don't want people to see that I have feet of clay. Isn't that lovely? Don't want to be on a pedestal or else people would say I have feet of clay. And it's so true. It's so true. We're here to be the healing of the world. We're here to be the healing of the world, but that means ourselves too. And when we go off the rail, because something lights us up, there might be something there for you to do. It might be indicating, hey, there's something here I can get involved in. Even if it's signing a petition. Even if it's going to, I looked up lions and tigers and bears out in Alpine. It's a beautiful sanctuary out there. Go out there and volunteer. Go out there and bring them some food. Send them some money, whatever. Do something in the world. If something lights you up, there is something you can do about it. So you change your little part of the world. You don't change the world. Maybe you change your little corner of it. And if nothing else, you pray. You pray. The most powerful place you find yourself is prayer. That's what Ernest Holmes said. So there's this story of the Buddha I read just recently. The Buddha was once threatened with death by a bandit. And I'm not even going to say his name. I can't pronounce it. Anyway, before the bandit was going to kill the Buddha said, I have one final wish. And so the bandit said, okay. And the Buddha said, cut that branch off that tree. And so, one swipe of the bandit's sword, and the branch fell. It is done. What now? Said the bandit. And the Buddha said, put it back on. Put it back on. And the bandit laughed. You must be crazy to think anybody can do that. On the contrary, said the Buddha, it is you who are crazy to think you are so mighty because you can wound and destroy. That's the action of children. The mighty know how to heal and create. And so that's my invitation to you. Any idiot can destroy. It is up to be the creative force in the world. It's up to create something new. It's up to us to do that work. That's our work to do in the world. We are here to know the truth. We are here to spread the truth. We are here to live the truth as we currently understand it and can demonstrate it. And the more we go on in this teaching and the deeper we get into this teaching, the more of it we know and the more we display and the more we demonstrate and the more we live of it. And we become those places of shining the light so brightly that people are attracted to us to transform their lives. We become the circle of light for those people around us to transform in our presence. We become the lighthouses. There's that old saying about, the lighthouse doesn't run all around the island looking for boats to save. It just stands there in one place, shining so brightly that boats are attracted to it and come to it for safety, for security, for their transformation. And that's what we are. And that's what we do. And that's how we can heal the world one mind at a time, is by standing in our truth, living our truth, proving these principles, practicing what we know is true, and being the change we wish to see in the world. That's how we work it. That's how we create a world that works for everyone, by working it. Ernest Holmes, I love this. He gave a talk on Sunday, February 14th of 1960. And actually, this was Ernest Holmes' last talk he gave before his transition. And he said, now religious science is based on this relationship of human with God, first, last, and all the time. We have nothing to sell you, but to give you back to yourself in as far as we can. We have nothing to persuade any living soul other than he is a living soul, born of eternal day and made in the image and likeness of God to traverse a heavenly path. And that's our job, and that is our mission, and that's why we're here. We are here to live the whole, full, complete, authentic life of Spirit as individually and uniquely as we can, as each one of us. That's working it. Thank you very much.